Hi, we're Chris and Teresa, and we would love to guide you on your fiber arts journey. We own a successful fiber processing mill and online needle felting business, experienced at raising all fiber animals, and have renovated a 100-year-old school into a fiber arts retreat center.
Processing, needle felting, yarn, roving, fiber animals, and sustainable agriculture are all topics discussed here. Think of this as your one-stop shop for advice, information, tips, and getting your questions answered on all things from farm to needle. So pull up a seat, make sure you're cozy, and get ready to be inspired while you learn. This is EweTube.
Welcome to EweTube 163. And now Teresa's going to talk because this is kind of huge, what she has discovered. So
we've been talking about the sheep saga for,
many EweTubes.
4 YouTubes or 5 maybe even. It started way back when we went out to the pasture and we found 6 dead sheep and lambs. We thought right away that it was the water, and for some reason we thought blue-green algae because it was green. And they were right by the water. So right away we just suspected the water was the problem. We've never had such a thing happen where there's that many dead at one time. We've never experienced anything like that, and so we were kind of concerned, and we contacted the vet and we brought some sheep to the labs to have them looked at, and all they came back with, because they were decomposing very fast because it was a hot day, and so all they came back with was that they had worms. And so then we worked with the vet, and she was like, well, you need to worm them. And we're like, well, we have wormed them. And I told her everything that we had dewormed them with, and then she thought maybe that they were, the worms were resistant to the dewormer. And so then we went down that whole rabbit trail, and we're very concerned that, they had resistant worms. And they did find barber pole worms, which was a huge concern, and all the research said that we should deworm them with 3 dewormers, and so we were on the lookout for the 3rd dewormer that we couldn't get, which was prohibit. And thankfully we had people send me, and many of you have offered to look at their,
reached out, and it's amazing,
and send us prohibit, and I really appreciate that. We did get some packets in the mail from Idaho, and we're very thankful. We did right away find one package of prohibit nearby here, and we went and got that, and we dewormed with the 3 dewormers the ewes that needed it. And all in all, with the ewes and the lambs in that first episode, we had, we're thinking like 15 that we lost. And it was devastating. And so then we moved the sheep. We actually brought them home so that we could monitor them better. We made a dry lot so that they couldn't be re-infested with worms after we dewormed them. We weaned the lambs so that the moms weren't stressed. The reason we hadn't done that sooner is because we were worried about the lambs being stressed. But obviously the ewes were stressed, so we weaned the lambs and put them in a whole different area, in a different barn, in a different pen. And it was not last weekend, but the weekend before, that Jeff went out to check on the lambs. We had gone out there the day before and seen that there was a few with diarrhea, and we were kind of concerned, but we've had that before when we've weaned them. And so we were just going to monitor them. We thought maybe it was coccidiosis. We put some things in the water to help with that. And then he went out the next day when I was at a retreat here at the school teaching felting, and found 7 dead lambs. And he was devastated, and he called we have a retired vet that used to raise sheep, and he's been amazing. He came out and he posted a couple of the lambs before he even got out there.
So what's posted?
Posted means it's like a
autopsy
on a sheep, but he does it right there in the barn. And he looks at what he thinks it could be, And then he takes whatever he needs and sends it on, brings it, or Jeff brought it to the lab at NDSU for them to look at and do cultures and figure out exactly what was going on. And before even the vet got there that night, Jeff was just sitting on a bale and 2 died before he even got there. And he was like texting me while I was here, and he's like, we're gonna have to do something tomorrow. And I'm like, well, I have I have a retreat this weekend. I'm teaching, and so he worked with the vet, and the vet, when he was doing when he posted them, he didn't see any worms. He didn't see a problem with worms at all. He did say that there's a bacterial infection going on, and so he's told Jeff that he should run them all through and give them antibiotics. And so he did that all by himself, and it seemed to dry up some of the diarrhea. We did move them out of that barn because Jeff has been raising like 16 bottle lambs in that barn, and he was very concerned that they would catch whatever these lambs had, because they're doing very well. And he's very proud of them. And so we moved them to the barn.
The big barn.
The other barn. The little barn, the old barn.
Oh, okay. So where are the...
Well, actually, no, we put them in the dry lot because the ewes are out on rotation in the pasture.
Okay.
So we put them in the dry lot.
So where are the rams? In the big barn?
The rams are just in pasture.
Okay.
And the rams have been fine. We have 9 rams, and they've all been fine. So we put them out there to monitor them. In the end, we lost 17 lambs. The vet said that you're probably going to lose more even if you give them the antibiotics. And so he was devastated and, trying to figure that all out. And then it was Sunday that afternoon after we got done with our retreat, we went and we worked them again. And we now have sorted off all of the sicker ones, and they're now in our old barn. And so that we're trying to keep them separate because we don't know if they can be transmitting it back or, spreading it. But what we did find from the lab at NDSU was that they died from salmonella.
Who'd have thunk?
And which we hadn't, they hadn't found that. But apparently you have to tell them exactly what to look for when you send it to the lab, or you have to give them some idea. The first, we brought 4 to the lab ourselves, and we're told by the other vet, you fill out that form when you bring them in there, and we filled out the form, but we didn't know what to write. Check this, check this, check this. We, at that first time, thought that they had died from blue-green algae. That was our suspicion, but we had no idea. And they were too decomposed for them to see. And thankfully for these lambs, we had the vet come right away. The 2 that had expired right before he got there, those were the ones that he looked at. And Jeff brought, on Sunday, he brought those to the lab. And that's when they found the salmonella. So then we're trying to figure out, and the vet, he's like, I don't know where you would have gotten this. I don't know where this came from. So when Jeff and I are sitting there thinking of it, we're going right back to the water, which was our first suspicion, because the water that we had, 3 dead right by the water, 1 dead with her head still in the water. Some were able to make it back to the barn. And, I don't know if it happens that fast or what the deal was, or if I don't know.
It's not common. No. Not at all common.
No. And so even now, we've researched so many different things during this whole thing. And we've been trying to research the salmonella, and there isn't a lot on the internet for that in the United States, but there is in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. And so I've been reading up on that. And it does sound like there can be, so like we did purchase some sheep, not this summer, but last summer. And they have been with our other sheep just fine. Everything's been going fine. And so in our research, we did see that if there can be carriers for salmonella, they can carry it, and as soon as they're stressed, so like the barber pole worms could have stressed them, and then that causes the salmonella to reproduce rapidly, I guess. So that would kill them. And then, if they're distressed from something else. And then when they go to the bathroom, then the other sheep are getting it from that. So, that was one thought that we had, that maybe we bought something that is a carrier. And, and it still could be. But we're still going back to that water because we bought them last summer. And right now we have sheep at Mike and Mary's. We have 10 sheep over there that are perfectly healthy, perfectly fine.
And some of them are from that.
Yes,
the ones,
are ones that we purchased. Plus, they were all together before this. All year last year.
On the land.
They were there.
They couldn't get to the water last year.
Yeah, we had the water was so dry last summer. So it was just barely any water in there. And so we were watering them in a tank. Every once in a while, sheep would get in there because it has bad fence. But we didn't have any losses in the pasture last year. And I mean, as far as one of them being a carrier, we were really thinking that isn't the case. And that what we brought the salmonella into our flock. We are still thinking the water.
So you're going to test the water.
And it does come, I mean, from the things that we've read, you can get it in your water from wildlife, birds, ducks. There's ducks floating around. This pond out here is like a man-made little pond with a little island, and it's not very deep. And there's a lot of runoff from fields that goes into that pond. And then from what I have learned in my research, just the fertilizer from the fields that gets into this runoff can help that bacteria reproduce even more. In, like this stagnant pond. And so, I don't know, the mystery continues, but that's where we're at right now. We have found out that once you have it on your farm, we're probably always going to have it. And if now that they've ingested it from the, drank it, and they have it, it's going to be a problem that continues. It can stay in them for several months.
Well, apparently the antibiotics helped.
They did help the lambs. The lambs aren't 100%.
Right. But it kind of stopped them from dying.
Yes,
so
we
quickly.
haven't lost any.
So is that what you're to do? That's the only, that's what you try if it's salmonella.
The vet that we're working with is waiting for more test results.
Okay.
And he's going to call us back. And we're hoping to meet with him and say, well, what should we be doing going forward with this? Because
maybe
we've
he's
never experienced this before.
doing research because he's never experienced it before. I would think as a vet, you'd be ultra interested to
figure that out.
Yeah, and would have greater research.
Yeah, because when he called us, he had just gotten the preliminary report from NDSU, which was very nice of him. And he said, I have no idea where you picked that up from.
Yeah.
Where you picked up salmonella. So if anybody out there has similar any knowledge or experience with their sheep, I've been reading everything I can, watching videos, everything. And they're usually from the UK or the Australia or New Zealand. And there's 2,000 different strains of salmonella. And so when you're looking at all this other information, you're wondering, do they have the same strain? Is it the same? Well,
yeah.
And and we've just started this research this week. Once we learned about that, but we still have the sickest of the sick are in the barn right now, so we can monitor them very closely. There's other lambs that had diarrhea and it's dried up, and now they're doing much better. And we're trying to get they're eating creep feed and things to try and get their health up, and a lot of them are like that we've put in the barn have lost most of their wool because that they must have had a high fever at some point. And so they look so rough.
The poor little lambs. Oh my goodness.
They look really rough, but nobody has died. We do have some weak ones still, and so we're waiting for the more results, and then we're going to ask him, what should we be doing? Should we, they don't have diarrhea anymore, but apparently, salmonella can be harder on some than others, and then also humans can catch it from them, from handling them,
Wow.
And we've been handling them a lot, but so far so good. So you gotta be very careful about washing and be very careful around them.
So you catch it from their feces or just...
So like if you didn't wash your hands and you...
Yep. Not from like if they have like their...
on you.
Or some... No, it's from...
I don't think so. I don't know. From what I've read, it's like if you were, you just have to wash and be careful.
Yeah.
And there is something during lambing.
Ooh.
That it can, like if you had to get a lamb out, that's when you're risking, getting salmonella. But
you need to get yourself
you need to have
big,
gloves,
long gloves
that go up to here.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's... Yeah.
Well, hopefully the next reports give you a little better idea of what you're dealing with.
And we haven't lost any more ewes. The ewes are all looking really good.
Good. Did you give them antibiotics?
We didn't. Okay. And from the other, just in the reading, is if you can, when this starts to be a problem, is if they have other stressors. So the worms are still an issue.
Yeah.
Because they cause the stress.
And you weaned them. That was a major stressor.
Which was our concern to begin with, but it did help the ewes.
Yeah.
But it didn't help these little guys. So it's kind of frustrating, but
wow.
It continues.
Stay tuned next week. Wow.
So
salmonella. Oofed up.
Yeah. And we still, the prohibit that was sent to us is still going to be helpful because we still have a problem with barber pole worms. So it's very, very helpful. And everybody's been so kind and concerned, and I really appreciate that because it hasn't been easy. It's the hardest thing that we've ever experienced with our sheep. And just trying to figure out the answers. We're trying to do the best we can for them. That's the latest report. It just keeps changing and changing.
It's interesting.
It all ties together.
Wow.
Because the worms did, affect the problem, and I think maybe we're in control of the worms a little bit. So. And
now that you have more prohibits, you can keep them on a schedule, and it's awesome. Wow.
We've learned a lot.
Yeah. And it's, when we start doing our animal care clinics here and stepping alongside other producers and whatnot, this type of experience and knowledge and wealth that you can share is,
Yeah, we had, so my husband's cousin's wife came to see my sheep. They want to start raising sheep. For their wool, and so that we can use their wool here, which is amazing. And so Jeff and I just sat and rattled off everything that we have learned, every horrible thing that's ever happened, and she still wants to do it. So sounds good, but and I was thinking the entire time I should have been recording it, or I should have been writing it down.
Yes,
because we've learned a lot over the years. Every year, we learn something new.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Alrighty, and we do have to share this Saturday. We had Nancy Gilbertson here, and her sister Rachel, and and we had a wonderful, amazing, which I'm assuming pictures are popping up of
the food.
Of the food. This 5-course. Oof. delicious.
So Libby's assistant was ill.
Yes.
So Heidi. And so I filled in. And so I was in the kitchen taking lots of pictures.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I enjoyed it.
And it worked out really, I mean, everything worked out. Everything worked out
The
great.
food was amazing. Everybody
Yep.
loved it.
And to hear Nancy here singing, she's
So Nancy
such an
graduated
entertainer.
from Nome. And she offered to come sing
Oh, God
here
bless her.
for
Yep.
an event. She wants to do it again.
And she was the one that has written three Christmas songs.
Yeah, she's changed songs
Yes.
to make them about Nome.
Yep.
So, and it's been pretty
In
cool.
amazing ways. So stay tuned. We'll start playing those.
Closer to Christmas. I use
Closer
them
to
every
Christmas.
year.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So that was really neat. And then her sister Rachel went up with her and they did a duet, which was really neat. So that was so much fun. So much fun. So thank you again, Nancy. And Rachel, it was awesome. And then backtracking another couple days, on Thursday, we had it. It was really quite amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
So we had been contacted by the people that started She Starts Week, which is in North Dakota, helping to empower women entrepreneurs, to have women network together, to just help each other out. And so they asked us to be a part of that, to have this happy hour from 4:30 to 5:30, and so we decided we'd do that. And then they said you could have panelists, and so we had Chris and I, and we had a local from Valley City, Penny Walla. She has Blush Boutique in Valley City. And then we had Maria Bozak from Fargo, who has Eco Chic. And she's sold many things over the years.
Yes,
but
she's evolved
it's
many
mainly
different ways.
furniture now. And that's in Fargo.
Yep.
And we had us as the panelists, and we had many, many questions.
Yeah, and Kristin, our event coordinator here, did the emceeing, so to speak. And
yeah, she did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
She came up with the questions.
Yeah.
And she asked them, and there was so much amazing information.
oh,
It was really, interesting.
I so enjoyed it, and we did it up in where we have Thirsty Thursday. So we did it. It was 4:30 to 5:30. Thirsty Thursday starts at 5. We maybe should have been down in the gym, because there was a lot of folks that came in to enjoy Thirsty Thursday that had no idea what we were doing, and we were up front and being, you filmed it, and it was wonderful. And
tried to film.
yeah, and then afterwards, we went into another room, the four of us gals, just to kind of visit and recap, and we were sitting there visiting, and we were like, we just didn't know. I mean, we really enjoyed. We just didn't know if we had
Anybody there
that really
got anything out of it. Most people were just sitting there talking
amongst themselves, and so we were.
They had no idea what we were talking about.
Yeah, we were a little.
And we even had to lean in to hear each other because it was so loud in there. And we're like, nobody's listening to us.
Yes. But we were sure enjoying it. Anyway, we were visiting, and then lo and behold, here comes a gal into the room that we were kind of recapping with, and she said, "Ladies, I just had to come in and tell you." She didn't know we were doing this panel. She didn't know. She was just coming to Thirsty Thursday, and she said that is exactly what God needed her to hear. Was what we discussed.
She was thinking of starting her own business.
Yeah,
and
it was
exactly what she needed at that time. And so we're like, well, one person
that made it all worth it. So worth it.
And the entire time I was thinking, well, I'm videoing it so we can use it later, or you guys can hear it.
Yeah.
But it was so loud in there, and people were standing in front of the camera.
A couple times we saw one person just like looking at the camera, and we're like, oh dear.
And it shut off after half an hour.
Yeah. Did you get any footage that you can share a little bit here?
Maybe. I haven't even had a chance to look at it.
Okay, well, if there's footage, it's being shared.
Yeah.
Here and now.
So
it was good.
We loved it, and we're going to do it again.
We are going to do it again.
Under different circumstances where people that are interested are there and listening to us. And we have
lots of ideas. So
amazing information was shared, and we would like to work together again because
Yeah. I mean, all of us got so much out of it just visiting with the four of us. We can't imagine if we would have had a room full of other
women entrepreneurs.
Oh,
or
man.
those interested in becoming women.
Yeah. Yeah. So we will be doing it again. So stay tuned for that. Okay. Now,
look at them all.
Oh, I got them. It's fall, and during fall,
It doesn't, at the Nome Schoolhouse, we don't have flies.
never mind, no flies. Okay, now we did not get the grease trap cleaned out again, and we know that there's many of you that are on pins and needles
Waiting for this.
and we have disappointed once again. So,
Not to mention that it's going to explode or something if we don't do
it's
it.
fine, and it does need to get done. But so next week, we're not promising, but that's what we're gonna shoot for, is next week. Yeah. Okay, and then this amazing news that we've been promising for quite a while.
We can't tell you.
We can't tell you. So
Not yet.
next week on that note, so stay tuned for
It's
that.
not happening next week. We don't know when it's happening.
I'm pretty sure it will, because we have something
She
going
thought
on.
COVID was going to be done in a week. So.
We have something going on Thursday, so I'm pretty sure that we'll be okay. Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't know for sure. Okay. Anyway, okay. So we got to go into these questions, because we had this question. I'm surprised it's just coming up now, because this is something that in Australia and New Zealand, it has, well, since the internet has made the world a very, very small place, a lot of folks have heard about this practice that's been going on for years there. They are the merino capital of the world, and merino are very very wrinkly, very
They have many folds of
many
their skin.
folds, and yeah, and they practice something down there. Not all of them, but they're called.
So did you ask the question yet?
No, I haven't. Could you explain what mulesing is? I heard that
It's not singing at all.
mulesing.
Music.
Can you explain what mulesing is? I heard from a UK fiber artist who only sources wool from non-mulesing flocks. What is your position on this practice? I've never heard of it before. So,
We don't do it.
we don't do it. They don't do it in the United States. They do it in New Zealand. They do it in Australia. And they've done it for years because, like I said, they raise an awful lot of merinos over there.
And what it
Yeah.
is you remove the skin off the back of their, what's the back of the top of their leg. So it's where if
Around their bum, around that area.
if they were to have diarrhea or get a poopy butt, they would, it gets stuck to the wool. And when it gets stuck to the wool, that's when the flies,
Like you see here, I don't even know where they came from. There's been no flies in here. Now there's a fly. Yeah.
flies, there's maggots. Maggots get put in there and they start to just kill the sheep, really. They get under the wool.
horrible.
And they get in there, and I mean, it doesn't happen in other animals with short hair or any.
No, it happens in rabbits too if they get wet and they fly. It's called fly strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've experienced fly strikes. So if they have diarrhea, and we just experienced it, where we see it on the wool and we see the flies, we know that the maggots are coming, and so we will shear that wool off the back of their legs, around their butt, up their back.
With we're not cutting them. You're just
No,
shearing
with
the wool off, just like
yeah,
they do with
taking
shearing.
the wool off. It's all disgusting, and it's got poop on it. And sometimes when we're doing that, we can see maggots in there, and the maggots are getting under the wool. They'll actually get under the wool and go like in, up their back, and start just eating underneath there. It's disgusting. It's horrible, and that's why they do this, where they remove the skin there so that no wool will grow. So the wool doesn't grow, so it's just skin. It's just like poop will wash off of there or go away. So that's why they do it. They don't do it the most humanely. They just
They just
cut off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do this on the lambs so that they won't have this fly strike problem. And in the end, mulesing is horrible. It seems horrible, but in the end, it's a lot better than the alternative, which is the fly strike and the maggots eating them alive.
Yeah, which is
horrible.
Yeah.
Both are horrible.
Yeah.
We don't do that in the United States. We don't cut off their skin. Never even, heard of it before. I grew up on a farm that we raised sheep. Never even crossed our minds that was a thing that you could do. But the merino are different, and it's harder to keep the fly strike away. And not everybody in New Zealand and Australia does that, but
no, not everyone.
It is still
but it's,
going on.
And it's tough when you don't. Well, in the United States, we know where all our wool that we use and process is from. It's from Teresa's farm. If we have to source other wool, we do local producers, or we know exactly where it's coming from here in the United States.
So it's important to know your farmer. So where you're getting your wool, it's important to know where that's coming from. Then you know that they're not doing that to their sheep, and you're supporting the farms that are trying to do it in a more humane way.
Right.
Actually flew up my nose.
when you import, these big 22-pound bumps and whatnot from abroad, you don't know, how those animals and herds are raised. This is like a really persistent fly that is,
which is,
appropriate for this discussion right now. So, yes. So we don't do it. We don't know of anyone that does it. Our position on it probably would be,
we wouldn't do it.
We wouldn't do it. You would really have to monitor your herd.
We don't raise merinos either.
We don't raise merinos. I mean, like Teresa said, for an animal to die of fly strike is worse.
It's horrible.
Much worse. Yep.
Up my nose. I'm gonna get a fly swatter.
Naughty flies. Yep.
Can I?
Sure.
I don't know where it is.
Okay. Well, she's going to look for a fly swatter. Well, all the flies are going to follow you, and they're going to be gone.
Well, be like.
Yes. Okay. Well, she's looking for her fly swatter, which she has discovered. Yes. Okay, last year we did not give the answer to our question.
And it wasn't last year.
Did I say last year? Oh, it was last week. It's a little late. Last week. Okay, how many people does it take to shear a sheep, Teresa?
1.
How many people does it take to shear an alpaca? Don't hit the camera. Really? No. It takes at least 3. To shear an alpaca, you have to wrestle it to the ground. So we had many people that got it right. So that was the question. And then
we already gave out the prize.
Yes, for that.
The winner of that, but we just forgot to say the answer. Yes.
So now that one I have already killed.
He's really dead now.
Okay. All right. Last week we asked, what is nature's nylon? We refer to this often and have in our past YouTubes. And a lot of folks answered silk. Silk is compared to spider webs in its strength. It's very, very, very fine. Very, very, very fine. Like a spider web, silk is very, very fine. When we refer to nature's nylon, we are talking about mohair. Because, as an example, my son is a lineman, God bless him, and he is told when he climbs the poles and he does certain things with electricity, it's recommended that he doesn't wear any synthetics, because if he gets zapped, it instantly melts to him. So 100% wool socks, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So when I started spinning sock yarn years ago, 8-9 years ago, I discovered mohair. Well, at that time I raised mohair, and discovered that mohair is nature's nylon, and it adds into the sock yarn. I use the mohair instead of the nylon, and it adds the strength, it adds the resilience, it adds the wearability, it adds so those socks, the sock yarn last longer. I mean, just all sorts of good stuff like nylon, kind of in the same way, only it's 100% natural sock yarn.
As opposed to silk.
As opposed to silk, yep. Mm-hmm.
So what does silk do? When you,
and
you add it to your wool yarn.
When I add it, Libby, Teresa's, our chef here, and Teresa's daughter, requested some lace weight alpaca with silk. So I did a beautiful lace weight blend with alpaca and silk. She wanted it for the strength. Mm-hmm. And the silk also adds luster, shine. Mohair does to the same fact too, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Anywho, so that was the question. Nobody answered it in that form. So, yeah.
And I think we've talked about it before. That's why we asked it.
Yeah. Similar to silk, but it's just a little stronger. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what's next week's question? And being we're talking about sheep and have been for a while, what food does a sheep need? What food does a sheep eat? We're just curious what folks think out there. Mm-hmm. Right. And then we'll discuss it next YouTube, which will be fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So right now, we are having Nome coming here at the Nome Schoolhouse.
Yes. And if you're not here,
first one ever,
you should be here because I'm sure it's amazing.
Yes, it's going to be fun. Everything that we love and enjoy to do is going to be right here.
Got all the rooms rented, so we know there's going to be it's just going to be so much fun. A lot of folks. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
this cornucopia retreat. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have moved the cornucopia out into the dining space. Mm-hmm. And I have had so many, that is the cutest thing ever, because it's all these needle felted, vegetables and whatnot, and a cornucopia coming out. It's just beautiful, and everyone is absolutely loving it. And so much interest in this retreat. I think this is going to fill up. So if you're at all interested, you'll have pictures that are popping up of this cornucopia.
So the cornucopia is a very beginner.
Yeah,
because
it is.
we start at the very easiest thing, and then you can make as many vegetables as you want for your cornucopia. So if you already know how to needle felt, it's just a fun time to gather and get together. Maybe learn a few new tips about needle felting or learn some new techniques. But just to hang out with other needle felting artists would be fun. And if you have never even heard of it, it is perfect for you because you're going to make just vegetables, and they're super easy, and we will all be there to help you. And
and like last year we did brand new roving because it was a pear. It was pear, so it was like this beautiful kind of deep gold with just a little hint of rust in there, and then eggplant. You wanted an eggplant color, and we came up with just the most perfect eggplant.
That's perfect.
What else? Oh, and it was this one. I've been needle felting on it. So anyway, it was to make the corn, the multicolor corn that.
What do you call that?
Well, I've always called it Indian corn, but I don't know if that's. Ornamental corn. That's it.
We call it ornamental corn. So we made that,
and it's the absolute perfect roving. So we
turned out perfect.
Came up with all sorts of different rovings,
and you can make
the grapes, the colored grapes. That was just perfect.
So they're easy. It's a fun class. You can make as many vegetables or as little vegetables as you want to, and fruits to put in your cornucopia.
So much fun.
But
I think my favorite was the grapes. You make the little grapes and then you put them on the little stems. I love that.
It was so much fun. And that's coming coming up in October 28th through the 30th here at the school, and you can stay. Everything is included.
Yeah.
So it's
Food,
all
lodging,
inclusive. So all your food,
bonfires,
drinks, everything
s'mores
is included. We'll pick you up from the airport. We'll bring you back to the airport. All you have to do is fly in here, and we'll get you.
Yep.
And we'll take care of you, and you'll have a blast.
Yep. Yep. So look on that. I'd hate to anyone that if you want to plan to fly in, I know you're going to want to book your flights a little earlier and whatnot. Now would be the time, because I think that this one is going to, with just the local interest we've had in it. And the fact that it's a beginner, it's so much fun. And all of them last year turned out so cute. And you provide the cornucopia itself. You provide, and
And speaking of needle felting and retreats, so I have listed the safari retreat for
next year,
next September. This next September 1st through the 8th. It is an entire week of needle felting, plus wonderful fun activities,
excursions.
We have fun things that we're changing it. So we had a safari this week. We had a safari this year, and we are making it longer, and so we can add in more activities. You'll actually be going down into the mill. You will be dyeing your own wool. You will be carding your own wool. So it's gonna be all yours. It's gonna be made entirely by you, and then we're going to needle felt, but we're going to needle felt for the rest of the week, and we're going to have fun activities. So we might go to a winery in the afternoon. We might go to a boutique, do some shopping.
To the farm, see the sheep.
Yes,
other animals.
So many things that we're planning on doing to break it up so that we're not constantly needle felting. But
not that that's a bad thing, but it's nice to have a break.
You will be able to finish your giraffe, which we're making a giraffe this year in that week. And you can find that on university.org and sign up. I do believe that it's very limited because this is a more difficult thing to learn. And so I am limiting it to just a very few people so that I can help you and we can really learn everything that you need to know about needle felting. And we'll have those that have made the elephant in the past joining us, and we're going to have an amazing time. I'm really looking forward to it, and we're opening it up this early because we do think it's going to fill up. So if you are interested at all in learning more advanced needle felting, that is next September 1st through the 8th.
How many are you having in it?
7 is what I have it set for. So,
and I think you already have 3.
Yeah, it's very limited so that I can spend time and teach you everything that you need to know. And you know, in a small group, it's fun. We're gonna have so many activities.
So much fun. Awesome.
And everything is included in that as well.
All the excursions, all the little everythings. Awesome. Thank you all. Thank you for your prayers, for all the sheep, for lifting up Teresa and Jeff and everything. God bless you all.
Please like this video, comment below, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching.